you know, there is this attitude of running men down, and it extends with children, and it goes right across the board. It's most unfortunate that sometimes some individuals in this society seem to feel that they need to run others down in order to elevate themselves. Well, what I am saying is that, you know, equality was never about running others down. And if you think that running other people down or running men down is some kind of social justice, then I guess you've just provided me with enough information that I don't really need to hear much more from a person like that, because they've essentially validated Kristallnacht and every human rights violation that's ever happened in history, and in every circumstance where other people have been discriminated against or treated poorly. And we've got to remember, there were people in the past who supported slavery. There were people in the past who supported racial discrimination, and there were people in the past who supported every human rights violation that has ever occurred in the history of humanity. So there are people who are also supporting this human rights violation against men and men's rights. A man's right to have access to his children and to have the opportunity to raise his children. You know, I'm not going to go into the details extensively about parents and fathers and how much time they spend with their kids. You know, if you're not aware of that, go to any park. Go to any park, take a look around. You know, I went for a walk today. I saw fathers out fishing with their kids. I saw fathers going for walks with their kids with not even a mother to be found. I seen fathers heavily involved with their children. I see fathers supporting their families. You know, if you were from a poor upbringing or an unfortunate circumstance with an irresponsible father, then perhaps you have a wrong role model, and that's why there's a resentment against men. But any man who supports an unequal system basically is discrediting himself in saying that he is unworthy as a parent. Because any man who would support this kind of discrimination, be he a lawyer, a judge, or otherwise, is basically saying that he is an unfit parent himself. And if he is an unfit parent himself, be he a lawyer, a judge, or otherwise, then I don't think that he should be in the position of making those decisions. I mean, that gets into a whole other matter about cleaning up the judiciary and some of the wingnuts we've got running our court system in this country. I think that it's time that you know, we take a look at some of these guys. You know, I went through the family court system, and some of these guys, I mean, they're not only living in the 1950s, they're living in the 1800s. And you know, it's time to bring in some fresh blood into this system. From what I could see, anyways, I mean, you can't have a court system that operates in secret like the family court system does, because essentially in the end you're going to get a system that's as abusive as the family court system is, where human rights are violated on a routine basis, where discrimination goes on a routine basis, where a lack of evidence is used as the basis of rulings on a routine basis. Bill C422 deals with all of these issues. And if this is brought into law, this should be the end of it. And if it's not the end of it, then it's time to start cleaning house of judges. Because that piece of legislation, that bill right now before Parliament, clears this matter up. And as a parent who's been through this garbage, I just want to say that I support this piece of legislation wholeheartedly. It's long time overdue. If you're a member of Parliament, if you know a member of Parliament, if you're involved in this thing, or if you can just talk or write on a piece of paper, the time is now to act. Because here is something that will genuinely change things. And this is the last chance for the courts to get it right. Because if they don't start getting it right, they're basically facing a situation in this country, as far as I'm concerned, this will one day lead to some kind of a revolution or a rebellion. Because this garbage has gone on long enough. This bigotry has to end. Enough is enough. And if you're half a man, you'll stand up for your rights as a man, as a parent, not as an authoritarian, And not as some kind of a boss, but because you love your kids and because you want your rights respected. Whether you're divorced, single, or you just care about children, you should care enough to support Bill C422, because that's what this is all about. It's not about a battle between mother and father. This is about justice for children. This is about the children who don't have a right to speak in court, the children who are never asked their opinion in these matters, and I have yet, ever in my life as a child, or any child that I've ever met ever since, unless he's been through some kind of indoctrination program, who's not wanted to have a relationship with both of his parents. I mean, I remember a lot of children who'd gone through divorce when I was a kid who longed for their parents, longed for their father in particular, their absentee father, when the system basically pushed this poor guy out the door. And you look at the crime statistics and you look at the percentage of criminals coming from single-parent homes, a mother is not adequate. Whether you believe in God or not, I don't care, just basic biology. A child is born to a mother and father because it is a necessity. Biologically, and it is a necessity if you believe in religion, and it is a necessity if you see the results of what is happening within society today. As the Chinese philosopher Confucius once said, as goes the family, so goes society. Well, as far as I can see, with the situation and the way that our society is now, with the general level of irresponsibility I see in young people today, sure, there are some responsible ones, but there's a lot of really screwed up kids out there. Boy, are they going to think we were a piece of shit for the way that we provided them with the lack of guidance and the lack of parental authority in their lives because of this stupid court system that basically is a system of bigots. It's a bigoted system, and that's all it is. You judges out there and you lawyers involved in this, you are no better than a bunch of Nazi prosecutors. That's all that you are. You're no better than people who defended slave owners' rights to own slaves. You're no better than a lot of people who were on the wrong side of history throughout the long course of history. And history will prove you people wrong again. Because you're not thinking about the kids. You're just thinking about your business, your industry, and all the money you guys are making off of this. And that's not right. I hope you guys rot in hell for it. I hope there isn't hell for you to rot in. And that's not said with some kind of vendetta. That's just the way I feel. You better hope there's no St. Peter at the pearly gate, because when I go there, I'm going to say, you know what, St. Peter? You better watch those son of a bitches who are coming behind me who were practitioners of family law, and for all the kids that they screwed up in their endeavors to make money off of this, and in their vicious lies and in their strategizations that they went through with the opposing parties in these situations. And they never gave a hoot about the children. They never gave a hoot about the future. They never gave a hoot about anything other than their own damn greedy, selfish, miserable pockets. And that's the kind of people that we're dealing with. People who have a ignorant, uneducated attitude towards men. And they are ignorant. Because if you look at all the social studies that have been compacted, and I don't have the time to go over them right now, just go to your damn library and start reading about this. Talk to a few social scientists who've looked at this situation and wake up and smell the coffee. Fathers are more involved with their children than they ever were in the history of this country. As a matter of fact, in the history of the Western world. They're necessary, and that's why they were created. That's why children are created with a mother and a father, because of the additional guidance and support, and the biological connection between the parents and the child is invaluable. It's the ultimate protection that you can give a child, is to give that child custody to both parents. Because when you do that, you double the child's protection.